the minister could have advised the president, because the president cannot be a minister, can be a permanent secretary, or neither be a director. He can be only a president. And he assigned or giving you a position, you to represent him. I think by honesty and trust, you should deliver. If you cannot deliver, ask the principal, I cannot deliver. Honorable Speaker. But the way things are going, Honorable Speaker, we have to change our attitude on this issue. The issue of trade, Congo Molen, Honorable Speaker. The Gambian people, they need food, Honorable Speaker. The commodities are expensive. Food commodities are expensive, Honorable Speaker. We were told the pricing of rice is reduced to 1,500. Good. Oil, the same thing. But I think the minister also should form a task force whereby to go all these commercial, this retail business means, the way things are going, Honorable Speaker, definitely the Gambian people are suffering from hunger. Because being a minister, yes, you cannot change any policy. It's a liberal market. But there are policies that you can take up and charge your own tax force people to do. But then the way things are going, I'm not saying at the dealer side, but the retail people, the way they are selling their commodities is unacceptable, Honorable Speaker. Last but not least, I know I have taken much time, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, that's regional government, that's land. Honorable Speaker, the way and manner lands are acquired in this country, the ministers should be come with a good policy, not only drafting policies and leave it like that. Honorable Speaker, any policy that we have adopted or you take in charge, make sure you implement it to the land. But we are very good in writing or drafting policies or regulations. But to implement it is always a problem. I think the way lands are acquired here for foreigners, Honorable Speaker, it should not be. You and I will never go to any country to acquire a land here. In fact, a hidden land whereby you can resell it to your the citizens. The way things are going is not right. And I'm not seeing any move on this issue. There will be a time we the citizens we will not have home to sleep. Honorable Speaker, if you don't make any stop on this issue. Honorable Speaker, I will come to this, the immigrations. We have, my opinion will say I'm biased, which I am not. Our young people are deported in other countries. I'm not saying Gambians, they are not deported, but the way things are going here, Honorable Speaker, we will not accept it. Young girls from outside our neighboring countries come here for prostitution, so to say. And we have laws in our country that age of 18 years. But today, go around, where the Interior Minister, the immigrations, the health are not seeing this. The way things are going, Honorable Speaker, is unacceptable because young girls are imported here for prostitution. That's trafficking. Their only work is to do prostitution at night. Whether our laws are governing this people or not? And what our interior minister is doing on this? What the immigrations are doing on this? Honorable Speaker, we cannot leave things to go like that. And your people don't do it outside. Why do we allow certain things to happen in your own country? And you are seeing it. They brought life. Today, just my trip, you go around, just take Kololi N, Honorable Speaker. It's unbearable, and our people are seeing it. In fact, this only can cause hunger in our country. What is happening? It's not acceptable. In Islamic, even in Christianity, it's not allowed. And we are seeing it every day. I'm not saying, yes, people are doing it. But the manner they are doing it is wrong. Today, the Nigerians and Sierra Leoneans are too much. And I'm a Muslim, Honorable Speaker. The way things are going, Honorable Speaker, should be looked at. Yes, it's a democratic state, that it is said, and we are also thanking the present government, allowing people to move around. But we have to control and make measures for what is happening in our country. The way it's going, Honorable Speaker, is not allowed. That being the case, Honorable Speaker, I will take my seat and say thank you very much for giving me the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Lower Sal. I now recognize the member for Woolies.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me first thank you and thank the President for coming to this Parliament to share with us issues that concern all of us so that we'll be able to review together and see how we're going to forge ahead. The President himself has said, as Honorable Speaker, that he has only provided the precise outlines of how his government fared during the 2022-2023 legislative year. But he has also directed us to the various sectors to get the details. He's giving us the outline, but he is saying the details are in the various sectors. So I'll just take this opportunity to call on the sectors to help us give all the details that are left behind. Because according to him, he said it is readily available. Honorable Speaker, the President is very right when he said in his introductory remarks that national development, especially in developing countries, cannot be discussed without reference to the pressure that global events and trends bring to bear on low-income nations, which is in page 6. I believe he is right, but what I also believe is that we cannot lose sight of the events and trends. But in my mind, we must be able to analyze those trends and learn from them so that we'll be able to shape our future. We should not allow those events and trends to overcome us at all times. They are coming, Those are trends. But those trends and policies are also caused by other human beings somewhere. And it is their interest that they actually safeguard in those trends. So, Honorable Speaker, any keen observer, those of my age, would know that a trend has changed in 1985 for the Gambia, when we have faltered in paying our debt. That's the time when the IMF was introduced. And an economic recovery program was introduced. It is an economic recovery program, that's the name, ERP, but actually it was meant to recover debts because we defaulted. And you know, when we defaulted, with the introduction of ERP, it was very devastating for those who were present at the time and aware. Because many of the government institutions that were providing non-tax to the government were privatized or divested. Those who know the GPMB, the Gambia River Transport, the Public Works Department, the National Training Corporation, these were all institutions that were giving revenue to the government. Honorable Speaker, we had to accept those conditions at that material time because we were indebted. And if we had not accepted them, the IMF and the multilateral lending agencies would abandon the Gambia and will go into difficulties of balance of payment deficit. And that is one of the major reasons why we have to digest that, pay part of our debts, so that we can continue to collect this from multilateral institutions. So, Honorable Speaker, going to the sectors, if we go to page 6, we are informed by the President that the Gambia relies heavily on imports for the consumption of basic food commodities, including wheat and maize. And according to him, the disruption of that has resulted in high inflation that we are experiencing today. Inflation, by the way, I think has gone up to 17%. When we were working on the revised budget, when we first newly came here, the inflation was 9%. When we were working on the budget, it was 11%. Now it's 17%. That's why the President called it high inflation. It's now double digit. It can go to, prices can go to any level because of that. But the blame is put on the Ukraine-Russia war. Yes, Ukraine-Russia war is partly responsible. But we must not lose sight of the responsibility that we should also have. That is, we could have, Ukraine is producing wheat and selling it to us. We have soil that can produce maize. So we can depend on Ukraine for wheat. Maybe we don't have that soil, but we should not depend on them for maize. We should be able to produce maize to be able to process that into flour so that we will also gain comparative advantage. We sell meat to other people, maize to other people, and other people will also sell wheat to us. Honorable Speaker, let me cite the IMF press release, number 22,431. That was 2021. The IMF Executive Board decision allows for an immediate disbursement of about $27.41 million to the Gambia to help meet the country's financing needs, address the repercussions of the war in Ukraine, and support the post-pandemic recovery. So we can now see that this amount was disbursed to the Gambia. But have we seen the anticipated recovery that we're supposed to do? Not much has been evident. So, Honorable Speaker, my question is, what happened to the IMF facility for 2023? These are our traditional partners, and we get this facility from them every 1 or 2 years. Is it that the IMF has refused to give us the facility this time around? Or have they lost confidence in us? Or are they fatigued? To the extent that now we have to leave the IMF, but we have, IMF, but the facility we get from the IMF, balance of payment deficit, is really more favorable to us than this arrangement we have with the BIDIA, which is $50 million. The $50 million is just 1 year. And then I calculated the payments we are supposed to do to the BIDIA. It has gone up to almost 7%. And any default, any timely default, you have to pay double above the 3%. So what happened to the IMF facility? Why did we not go for the IMF facility this time around?
Point of observation.
Honorable Speaker, why didn't you wait until your turn has come?
I want to observe if
I'm not allowing you. No, I'm not allowing you. No, I'm not. Just leave this majority leave equal system. Honorable Speaker, the President on page 7 also made a comparison of revenue performance from 2022 and 2023 between January and February, which shows domestic taxes have increased by 5% during the period, while customs and excise taxes increased by 20% over the same period. So if we look at this, we see that how will we be able to control inflation if these things are increasing like this? We are just increasing taxes, like this custom duty, etc., etc. The price of commodities must also be increased. They go correspondingly. So I believe that any policy, Honorable Speaker, when it comes to agriculture, on fertilizer, and we don't give consideration to the promotion of organic fertilizer, is doomed to fail, Honorable Speaker. We all know chemical fertilizer is not under our control and it's very expensive. And the problem in Ukraine is also very far from being resolved. And fertilizer kills our soil, destroys the nutrients in the soil. That's the chemical fertilizer. So, if we don't introduce organic fertilizer or promote organic fertilizer, we are simply spelling dependence on outside commodities like fertilizer. And if we are dependent on chemical fertilizer, it has a lot of repercussions, like I said. You know, we are not the ones who are producing the fertilizer. So if it destroys our soil, we have no other way except to go for it. Because if you don't go for it anytime, know that your production will be terribly low. So you can see that now, if you, the example is the watermelon. When I was young, you consume the watermelon, the seeds, you save them, the following year, you sow them, you have your watermelon. Now the watermelon seed is lost. We are completely dependent on imported watermelon seeds. So it's the same thing. If we depend on fertilizer, chemical, we destroy our soil, we must go and bring that fertilizer. Otherwise, our soil is dead. So, to my mind, we must promote organic money if we really want to make it. I already know that a lot of people who have the facility in the province, they have cows and all that, they don't mind the chemical fertilizer. And their crops are usually better managed than those who grow food. So, Honorable Speaker, one mistake I believe we have done in agriculture is the issue of depending on production of cash crop at the expense of food crops. We've given much impetus to the production of cash crop, to the extent that we are becoming food insecure. That trend must also change. While you are hunting for cash, but you are hungry at home. The little cash you get from your groundnut will not be able to take care of your food things. So how do we promote food production? We must produce, we must also process, and the value chain is there, linked to marketing. As I said here before, if you go to your you see the yellow coming from Spain. And that's the same food that we are producing in Ghana. But they process it there, back it, made in Spain, they bring it here. Our people spend a lot of money to go to the Pasay market. There are people who are specialized in bringing them in containers. Why can't we do the same? And sell food instead of buying food. $50 million loan 1 year so that we can import food. When a country like this, River Gambia, with the fresh water, we should be able to produce more than what we need. 2 million people. 2 million. Just 2 million. With arable land, fresh water everywhere. Even if there is no river, if you dig a borehole everywhere, we should be able to produce more food than we need. But we taking all these loans just to be able to import food. That is not a wise thing. So, Honorable Speaker, we cannot continue to beg the World Bank and the IMF for everything that we need, rollovers and all that. And heaping poverty on our people will be one day caused by our people. And we are here to represent it. Honorable Speaker, when it comes to the PPPs in agriculture, That is something that I applaud. Because if we do it correctly, it should really take the country very far, public-private partnership. But in farming, my concern is that the land belongs to the people. The peasant farmer has land. He does not have the capital, but he has land. So, how are we going to make these two, the investor and the landowner, to cooperate, to work together for a win-win is what concerns me. Anyhow, we do that so that both sides win is applicable to me. But other than that, what I'm running away is to take the land from the poor person by giving him pittance and collect the land from him, give it to the investor, foreign investor, to do production. Eventually, we might find ourselves in the Zimbabwe situation, where the vast majority of land is in the hands of few foreign investors. And we'll come back again to fight, to take it from them. So that is something that we must think about before we get into any PPP. Honorable Speaker, fisheries. If you go to fisheries, what the President said, I believe that with proper investment, 30,000 people being employed in fisheries, it's really underutilized. If we are really serious and we do the investment that is necessary in fisheries, they would tell you the government should not go into production. I don't know where these policies were manufactured. Because if you go to any European country, any American country, Canada, all these places, they are producing. They have their business. Governments are doing business. They have railways, they have airports, they have seaports, they have fishing companies, etc., etc. So they are in production. But they come here and tell you governments not go into production because if they go there, business, there are thieves, there is a lot of corruption, etc., etc. It will not be viable and all this. We must accept that not everybody in this country is a bad person. There are some very good people in this country, and that's why the country is moving. If we are all bad, we would have all been dead by now. So we must accept that there are good people and there are bad people. Even in private business, there are bad people running there, there are good people running there. That's why some of them are collapsing, others are growing. So government is like that. The safeguards that private people do in safeguarding their business is the same safeguards that the state should do to safeguard public property. If we cannot do that, then our humanity should be questioned. Honorable Speaker, when you, like in fisheries, my honorable member has mentioned the tuna agreement we had here. The President mentioned 30 million that is coming from the EU. Is that $30 million the same as the lancing that we received from the EU, which is 550,000? Because when we were ratifying that year, it was 550,000 annual lancing. So, but that is not mentioned here. What is mentioned is the EU, under the Sustainable Fisheries Partnership Agreement, provides $30 million annually to strengthen sustainability. Is that the same as the lancing that we received from them, or this is something else? That's one question I want to raise in the place. Honorable Speaker, on page 8, When you go to on page 8, there is this issue of water. And the President just mentioned Japanese boreholes, Japanese project, which is under the, I think it's the Vice President's office or the President's office. But in the ADB project, African Development Bank project, which has dug 120 or drilled 120 boreholes. The boreholes are lying there fallow since 2021. Our people continue to bombard us with all kinds of questions regarding those boreholes. And every time we come here, the minister tells us that it will soon start. We've not seen any sign that they are starting. So we need clarification, really a good clarification on that. What is the situation with the 120 boreholes under the African Development Bank project? That is something that is deluding a lot of members here, and we continue to raise them. But no tangible steps have been taken. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Member, please, I want to interrupt you. So, I want to attend to another very important assembly matter. So that being the case, I would want the assembly to move a motion to election one to preside for about 10 minutes or so while I attend to that. And can anyone move that we Member Kujimara?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I ask to move that we elect the majority leader to step in by your honor.
Any seconder? Member for Serekunda? Serekunda West.
I second the motion.
It moved and seconded that the member for Kantora and majority leader preside over business while I'm away. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those not in favor, please say no. That is it. Majority leader. Member for Woolly East, you may proceed. Please proceed. Member for Woolly.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, thank you. Honorable Speaker, on the basic education, basic and secondary education, the statistics provided by the address is mixed. There is modest progress in some areas and some setbacks in other areas. But what is clear, Honorable Speaker, is that I believe what we must all accept is we have not accepted, we have not attained universal enrollment, which is the target. Education is a right. According to section 30A of the 1997 Constitution, education shall be free, compulsory, and that is basic education, shall be free and compulsory, and available to all. And if you go to 30B, saying the development of a system of schools with adequate facilities at all levels shall be actively pursued. That's the constitutional provision. We cannot attain all the other ones. But it is disheartening to really go to some villages and see that children are just playing about, but they are not going to school because they don't have that facility in their community. We must, at least basic education, provide that in all communities. no matter how remote they are, they should have the opportunity to go to school. So while the NGOs, MRC Holland Foundation, and others are helping the country, who, as they say, collaborating with us, we, as a country, as a government, as a state, should also take it upon ourselves by fast-tracking to look at, some communities that are really, really deprived, to ensure that they have at least the beginning of the basic education structures. To give meaning to the constitutional provision, we should now work towards the universal enrollment. Honorable Speaker, justice. If you look at the data provided by the President regarding the dispensation of justice, there is some progress. But yet, there is still much to be desired. Because, Honorable Speaker, the figures are telling us still that there are a lot of cases that will take years before they are disposed of. If people are aggrieved and they go to the judicial system and they not take these things into their own hands, and they go and seek for justice, it takes them 3 years, 4 years to get justice. They say justice delayed, it is their time. Justice delayed is justice denied. So we are denying a lot of people their justice. So we must ensure that those distressed people are really taken care of. Honorable Speaker, on trade, industry, and employment. This is a very important area. And the key thing I highlighted there is the 150,000 jobs. When I first heard that, I knocked the table. But I think I knocked the table harder than I should. When I really, really went home and looked at this report, I said, well, maybe I should just lightly tap the table. We are informed some 2 years ago about this 150,000 jobs. That is since 2021, I believe. But the only progress we hear about this, according to the President's report, is that a committee was set, and that committee will report to a cabinet subcommittee. That's all that is about this 150,000 jobs. It's progress, but it's a very slow progress. And this 150,000 jobs will be created in 5 years. So if 2 years has already gone, and then the only process that is gone is to be reporting to the cabinet subcommittee, then I believe it will take more than 5 years to produce this. And, Honorable Speaker, if we produce 150,000 jobs in 5 years, how many people are really joining the job market? How many people are joining? That statistics is required. The President told us to go to the sectors to get the details. So we are also asking questions to get the details. And that's our responsibility here. So I'm just thinking that if we produce, even if we produce 70 job seekers that are joining the market a year, and then you produce 150,000 jobs in 5 years, I believe we are still far from the solution. Unemployment, that is in this country, employment, unemployment, and underemployment. These are the two. We must be taking serious steps to really deal with that. And I believe also, Honorable Speaker, that we should really look at the GPOs and empower the GPOs, strengthen them, so that they provide the right data. The last time I met them, I think in a workshop, I asked about the unemployment data. They say not much funds are given to them to do all those things. So we really don't even have the data. There is a lot of unemployment in this country. A lot of underemployment. Underemployment is you're working and then what you gain cannot even take care of your basic needs. So we need to look at that. Honorable Speaker, also on the trade, we are very grateful that the Gambia, according to the President's address, is on track. Because we had a very interesting debate at the Pan-African Parliament. And we informed them during our deliberation that Gambia is a bit far ahead of many countries in Africa in terms of the AFCETA, the AFCFTA, Africa Continental Free Trade Area. The impression we had there was that they were dealing with many countries. They mentioned many countries, and they did not mention Gambia, but they mentioned Senegal. So the impression I get was, no, maybe we were behind. But when the president made his address, I come to understand that we are definitely not behind. In fact, we are at the forefront. So I'm very grateful about that. What we are also told, Honorable Speaker, is that every country should create an ad hoc committee that would engage in the coordination process. And the impression is that that ad hoc committee, if you want to create it, has some difficulties. And what each country should do is that if you want to create an ad hoc committee and you have a difficulty, you can request for help, and the Secretariat will definitely support you in doing that. But I think that the President is saying we are dealing with the Secretariat, so I assume that the ad hoc committee is already established. So, Honorable Speaker, it comes to trade again. We have AFCETA, we also have AGOA. You see, countries like South Africa are benefiting a lot from AGOA, the Africa Growth and Opportunities Act that's provided by the United States. But, again, if we don't go to the productive base, link it to industry process, link it to marketing, we will not gain much from all these opportunities. Because they will not allow you to take raw ground to Senegal or to another place. AFCETA is dealing with value-added goods. So if you just grow crops like that, you may not have market in Africa. And the AFCETA is about Africans trading among themselves. So we should produce processed goods. We also know, Honorable Speaker, that there are other opportunities there.
Point of order. Substitution. Honorable, there's a point of order on the floor.
Yes, order 61.
Your mic, please.
Order 61. Chair, with all due respect, the trend that we are going in favor of.
Sorry, order 61.
61, yes.
It reads.
Limitation, I mean the limitation of time. We need to have time for the debate. Yes. Check, it's there. 3. Please, members, I'm appealing to all of us, let's have time. If not, we'll spend 2 days on this. Please. No, it's possible.
Yes.
Yes. He is not right.
You came late. It has been over already.
Okay.
But this is the point
sorry,
of order.
Honorable
This is the
member,
order.
There is a point of order in the floor. Rising to order 61.
Is that a point of order?
Honorable member, according to the standing orders, ABC should have really come up with this prior before tabling of the motion. However, I'll refer you to 61 subclause 3. Provided that such motions shall not be tabled in the course of the debate, to which it refers unless it is a motion after adjournment debate of such debate and before debate is resumed. Therefore, it
and equip them. And this will be in strategic places according to him. They'll be equipped. But my take on that is that there are already many existing health centers. It's just, if it is not a gift, it's not a charity. I believe the existing health centers in the country, some are already upgraded to major health centers. But Honorable Speaker, if you go to major health centers, like in my constituency, Bajakonda, which is upgraded to major health center, it is just upgraded in name. But really the facilities are not there. And we keep on telling the Minister of Health to upgrade them. There are promises, but there are difficulties. So if there are equipments, instead of creating 5 other new health centers and equipping them, why don't you just upgrade the existing ones to better standards? I think that will be more cost effective for us than, I'm not saying they should not build them. Maybe there are some static places that require it. But I believe that the ones that are already built, if they are equipped, better equipped, that will help us. Honorable Speaker, the President mentioned legal affairs, constitutional changes. I've seen that somewhere. But I believe, if we are going into constitutional amendment or review, I believe there is a time frame for that. It is important to do it well before election time. for election year. If you do it 1 year to elections, some months to elections, it will not pass here. It will be another waste of public money. So the earlier we do it, when politics have already died down, we have now passed the 3 stages of election cycle. This is the best time to actually come up with a constitution, a draft constitution that will pass here, because the threshold is very high. 3/4. The fourth, the second reading, 3/4, the third reading, to go to the referendum. 3/4. 50 must participate, 3/4 must say yes. It's a very high threshold. And the polarization in this house, even the last one is better than this one. So I believe whatever efforts they are doing to bring the constitution back here should be proactive. It should not wait until political wrangling has started. And if you follow the meeting people told, it has already started. So before it gets heated up, it's better we actually deal with those very sensitive issues. Honorable Speaker, I thank the ministers that are here, that have come to listen to us and share with us. And thank your office for all the effort that you are doing. Thank you for this time.
Thank you very much, Member for Woolies. We have about 21 members that want to really intervene. So I'm appealing to you if you can really summarize our interventions. I now call on Member for Kian West.
Honorable Speaker, colleague, honorable members, honorable ministers here present. Press, assembly service staffs. It's really been a while that we appeared here. I want to give thanks and praise to God who gave me another opportunity to take part in the SONA debate. Honorable Speaker, my intervention will just look at few ministries. But I want to start with the Ministry of Gender. Honorable Speaker, during the President's deliberation, he has given us statistics and the amount of funds that were disbursed for Women Enterprise Fund and the amount of women groups that benefited from these funds. And I want us to have a look at this. On your permission, Honorable Speaker, I want to cite this. It says, on program implementation, the Women Enterprise Fund introduced in 2020 has benefited more than 93,000 women entrepreneurs, with $68 million disbursed, $68 million disbursed to 628 women groups. The recovery rate during the past 3 years, stands at 75% and 53% respectively. During the past 3 years, stands at 75% and 53% respectively. For the first and second disbursement, in 2023, about 550 women groups will be reached countrywide through the same arrangement. The amount of funds disbursed, if you look at the percentage, the recovery percentage, it says 75% recovery rate. He said for the past 3 years, but 2 percentages were brought forward. That is 75% and 53%. I don't know, 75% represent which year and 53% represent which year, which has to be clear. This was not indicated. And it also appeared that an year has been left out, giving us 3 years respectively for the past 3 years recovery rate, but 2 percentages were given to us, 75% and that of 53%. And when you look at that, for 75% of 68 million, I don't know if the 75% actually recovery has come from the disbursed 68 million. If it does, then 75% of 68 million is 51 million, with minus 17 million. 75% has recovered. If that is the percentage of the 58 million being disbursed, then the recovery was 51 million, then with minus 17 million. We want to know the challenges of these recoveries, because we cannot appropriate funds here and they will give funds to people, they cannot make business out of it, and the funds never come back. We need to look at that. And let's have a look at the 53%. We are not really clear. It wasn't really specific. These percentages represent which disbursement. Is it part of the 58 million or what? Then if the 53% of the 68 million is $36 million, 36 million, with minus 32 million. We need to be clear about this. You know, let us be told that this 53% recovery was recovered from the 68 million, or the 75% recovery was from this, or we're doing the 2% together. The statistic is really very vague. We need to really know what it really meant. And Honorable Speaker, it's not just about disbursement and recovery, it's about the impact. This disbursement and giving funds to women groups should have an impact on their lives and livelihood. We were expecting to be told that out of 628 women groups, 200 or 300 of the women groups are now independent on their own and now financing their own businesses. And this is the output of their business. We want to know the output. This is what is more important. We don't just want to give it to them for the sake of disbursement and recovery. No, we want to see the impact of this. How many of them? Is it definitely alleviating, them from poverty? Is it improving their income status? These are some of the things that we wish to know. But not just about this is what we have, because we know what you have disbursed, because we are appropriated here, and we know lesser than that you would. We want you to tell us what is the impact of this job that you have been assigned with. How many women groups are independent now? How many of them can finance their business on their own? And you monitor them periodically, so that we can have a sustainability of the projects that the ministry is implementing. But year in, year out, we are appropriating funds for Women Enterprise Fund, and we are not giving the impact, the statistic of the impact. I think the ministry should definitely work on giving us that, because we will be very interested in that. Honorable Speaker, Minister of Youth and Sports. Honorable Speaker, I am very much surprised. Trust it. Honorable Speaker, on your permission, I want to give back the budget appropriated for Minister of Youth and Sports in 2022 and 2023. In 2022, sorry, which page? Okay, no, that is a statistic. In 2022, Minister of Youth and Sports, 104,959,730 was approved for Ministry of Youth and Sport.
Point of order.
There's a point of order, member.
Yes.
Point of order.
content of speech. Every member shall restrict his or her observation to the subject of under discussion. We are here discussing about the SONA. So please, I'm reminding member not to bring the issue of the budget here. We are discussing about this.
Honorable Speaker, which order? Can we know the order, please?
Order number. No. Order number 26, subsection 1. Content of speech.
Thank you very much. Appreciates the concern, but I think it's linking it to Ministry of Finance, Youth and Sport, the budgets allocated vis-a-vis the policy document goals. So you can restrict your intervention. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, in 2022, as I indicated earlier on, 104,959,730 was appropriated. And in 2023, and this will be in relation with the implementation of the policies and the projects of the ministry. In 2023, they have a decline of 3 million because we appropriated 101,565,344 for them. In the SONA speech for the Ministry of Youth and Sport, the only achievement for youth, the entire youth in this country, the only achievement that was mentioned in this SONA speech was in sports, that is 4.4 on the Ministry of Youth and Sport. In sports, the Gambia is doing very well in various competitions. Football, athletics, beach volleyball, and martial arts are typical examples. I congratulate all our Scorpions and all our sports persons and officials on their successes. The under-20 football team most notably inclusive. The Gambia will remain solidly supportive of the sector. This is the only achievement. The major project of the independent stadium that we are expecting to appear so that we can be told the level of implementation of that, because we cannot afford to see our national team playing outside the country. They need to be cheered when they are playing their home games. They are losing all that. And this can have impact on their results. And not only national team, but so many sporting events take place at the national stadium. It is an avenue for generating income for us. But all those things have been stopped for how long now? So the level of implementation of that, it's not been taught. If you look at it, it says youth and sports. Young people are most productive segment of the society, and those are stakeholders in the national development process. They face substantial barriers, however, in this quest to be productive. This is one. And point 2 says, insufficient access to knowledge, information, and strategic education is on the barriers, making them less competitive at both national and international level. That's point 2. Point 3 says, in this respect, the Youth and Sport Ministry is devising strategic initiatives to increase sports to the youth and their areas of development. That is that. And point 4, that was that achievement that I've just talked about. And it is, Honorable Speaker, several bills and acts are under review to enhance the legal environment for youth and sports. This is what they are telling us about the ministry. The budget we have appropriated. Well, how are they spending this? on the development issues. What of the mini stadiums that we have across the country? Go to those mini stadiums now. Some of them, even the perimeter fences is horrible. And all those budgets are appropriated in this parliament. The Minister of Youth and Sport is giving this president to come and read trust. And he accepts it. All what is going on, the projects as far as youth and sport is concerned, even the mini stadiums alone, can be more than half of this book let presented to us. Come to the stadium. All those things are not done. The empowerment of the youth. Go to National Youth Council and others. This is what the ministry is presenting for us as far as the youth activities is concerned in this country. It's sad. It's sad, but I come to realize that probably the minister might be busy campaigning when the ministry should be providing this information to the President Biden. Honorable Speaker, to basic and secondary education. Honorable Speaker, basic and secondary education, I just want to remind the minister that the indication in the book is very clear, but what we were expecting was not what is being brought forward here. The enrollment is what the government is talking about. We want to be told about the quality of education, the enrollment, the access. Access goes with quality. Is what they are talking to us about. We were expecting to tell us the amount of students that were able to graduate from senior secondary school. And this will tell us and inform us that our level of education is increasing. It will tell us that the school drops out are reducing in our country. But just to tell us an enrollment to elementary, enrollment to lower basic, enrollment to upper basic, and enrollment to senior secondary school. It's the list that we expect. What we expect is the graduation. How many students, how many young girls graduate from senior secondary schools without getting into marriage? These are some of the statistics that we are expecting to tell us that this is the status of education in the country. But enroll, maybe if 100 of them are enrolled, probably 10 of them graduate. This has no impact. This has no significance. We want to be told this. And when you get to senior secondary school, here it says, as a result of all the investment in both access and the quality of education delivered, the number of students attaining 0 credits or 0 passes in the West African Senior Secondary Certificate Examination dropped significantly. It is telling us that the number of passes, the number of 0 passes and the 0 credit has dropped. But that does not really mean the number of passes and the credit has increased. These are two different things. If the number of passes and the number of 0 passes and 0 credit has decreased, that has not told us that the number of passes and credits have increased. No, that has not told us that. Which means probably if in the previous year, 100 people have 0 credits and 0 passes, probably this year we have only 50 people. This is what the statistics say, period. Nothing else, nothing more. Only 50 people. We were expecting to be told that the number of passes and credits in 2022, in 2021, probably was 2,000 people. And in 2022, it has increased to 2,500 people, or 250 people. This is what we are expecting. Or to tell us that 2,000 young girls have graduated from senior secondary schools. These are some of the things we expected. But to tell us that enrollment, of course we know they will be enrolled because there is access. But do they graduate? Do they graduate with productivity? Do they graduate with results? This is what we need. And from what we have learned, and we do know, is that the previous WASS result was poor across the country. We complain all of that if the future generation is what we're expecting to hand over this parliament and these ministries to are feeling woefully, then this country is moving at a very bad direction. Honorable Speaker, to the Minister of Higher Education. For Ministry of Higher Education, is also telling us the number of scholarships given as an achievement. And for the TVET program. But if you give scholarships to 5,000 students, for instance, as President indicated in the speech, Honorable Speaker, on your permission, it says at the UTG alone, over 1,600 students are on government scholarships. We're giving scholarships to students now. 1,600 of them. How many of them graduate? We're giving scholarships to 1,600 students. How many of them graduate? How many of them are graduated and we consume them in the system? And they are productive to the state now. These are some of the things that we need to be looking at. But they only tell us how much students are given scholarships. Of course, we appropriate funds here, and we expect them to be given to students. We don't expect them to be given to farmers for fertilizers. We expect them to be given to students as scholarships. Only to tell us that you have given us this and we give to this number of students. No, that's not enough. That's very periphery as far as development is concerned. Tell us how many of them graduate. Upon graduation, what is the plan? How many of them would be consumed in the system to ensure that we increase the productivity in the various sectors of development? But that has not been indicated here. Honorable Speaker, to the Minister of Justice. Honorable Speaker, on your permission, let me try to put across my little observation about the Ministry of Justice. It is indicated here as the legal and judiciary sector. In the SONA address under the said ministry, 2022 SONA address, the President indicated, as the Constitution remains the top priority, my government is determined to oversee the crafting of a new constitution for the Gambia. Therefore, the Ministry of Justice will resume work towards tabling a draft constitution before this August Assembly. On the 2023 SONA speech, the President says, 2022 it came under the first item, but now I could realize it came under the fifth item. Probably, I don't think it is the fifth prioritized. I don't pray for that. It says, furthermore, the sector is working on constitutional review process. The process is guided by relevant legal and legislative consideration, as well as our national interest. For now, it is essential to determine the necessary legislative amendment to support the next phase of the review process. Even a dot, if you want to change in this constitution, you need 40 plus members in this house. Even a dot, a full stop or a comma, you want to change in this constitution, you need 40 plus members out of 58 to vote yes. 42. When are we going to propose those amendments? Are we ready to do that? The President promised us this in 2022, and 2023 SONA speech, another one. We have not seen any commitment. We have not seen any commitment. We have seen other bills being brought before this parliament. If the government is committed to bringing the draft constitution in this parliament, it would have been brought by now. Other bills have been brought here. Why is the ministry not still bringing this? Still at the level of consultation or what? The president gave us this big hope. We were thinking that the first session of 2023 legislative year, this constitution is going to be brought before this August House. It never came. This session also, it never appeared. And the president is giving us this information. We can never trust that this constitution will come. And as Honorable Willie is indicated, if it comes any time nearer election, we are not going to accept it. We want to see commitment. Why are people supporting the constitution, benefiting from the constitution they were against yesterday? The laws that you were castigating against and saying everything against yesterday, and today you are benefiting from those laws? We want to see commitment from the government in bringing constitution here. You are seeing any bill that is bringing here, they are bringing us bills and bills and bills. Any bills that comes here has to be in line with the 1997 constitution. Otherwise, it will not come here. This is why all other bills that came here during the draft constitution, they all have to be gone back. All the technical issues that were reported, they all have to be go back to be drafted in line with the 1997 constitution so that they can be tabled here in this parliament. We know them. So let the constitution be brought. There is no better law, but the most suitable. There is no most perfect law. We are not against this constitution in against of the previous government. But times changes, and when things changes, you change along with them. The world is dynamic. Generations changes. How can you govern children of 19 years and 17 years of laws that were drafted before they were born? Let's change laws, and I think the time has come and it is necessary. Honorable Speaker, before I conclude, because I want to, in the concluding remark of His Excellency, he stressed very well national unity and that of coming together to build this country. And I was very much impressed. He urged each and every one of us to come together. And he explained that politics has finished. Let us face national development and build this country. And I think it's on this spirit that the members of this August Assembly have been set into various committees so that the committee you may fall on might not necessarily have any project in your constituency. But you have to approach the works of that committee bipartisanshiply with commitment and dedication to ensure that the funds that are appropriated here are being implemented very well. But surprisingly, some members think contrary to that. Some members think very contrary. Even went on against the government of implementing projects to the areas where oppositions are. I was very much touched that a member could go openly and cite the name of my constituents as being members of the opposition and where the government is giving them projects. Every genuine National Assembly member for the representing government should be proud of that. To say my government is giving you this, even though you don't support them, for democracy and for development and for promotion of the distributive justice principle as development is concerned. To do that, if you lobby for development is fine, but it's the right of every citizen, every taxpayer to benefit from the national resources, from the national key. That is the highest level of ignorance for a National Assembly member to think in that light, to think that development should not be given to the people. I think the government do not make any mistake by giving development priorities to various constituencies. The government do not make any mistake to do that. So the least that we expect from every National Assembly member is to think that development should not be given to constituencies who do not vote for the president. This is the least that we expect from each of us. Let's approach things bipartisanshiply. Let's ensure that we develop this country. We are here to scrutinize things. I don't trust that National Assembly member to go for any oversight function that does not fall in his constituency, because he will not do justice to the work. Honorable Speaker, this assembly must do the right thing, and I think the time has come that the National Assembly members definitely, or let me tell the government to definitely educate some of your members on the consequences of certain political remarks, on even you as a government. It's so sad to say such a thing to the taxpayers. And through your office, Honorable Speaker, I want to appeal to you that Honorable Member for Upper Flood West has released this statement against my constituency, that the government is giving them development and they are not voting for him. And even if he put diamond and gold there, they will never vote for him. Why is he doing that? I'm requesting through your office for him to withdraw that statement and apologize to my constituency, and even to all other communities that he has mentioned in his remark. It is everywhere in the country. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Move your motion to.
Our member for Arizona, please put up your mic. Thank you very much, member for Kiang West. I now give the floor to the member for Fonyi Baraka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I rise today to give my response to His Excellency President Barrow's speech on State of Nation address. I would like to thank His Excellency on the time taken to appear before the National Assembly to fulfill his constitutional requirement. I would also like to thank him on the achievement made in the areas where he brings development, like road construction from the Ministry of Works, though Fonyi people did not benefit anything on that. Honorable Speaker, I would like to respond on his speech with regards to some burning issues, like the rise in basics commodity in the market, among other, that is affecting the country. And I felt that His Excellency did not adequately tell the Gambia how his government intends to address that problem. Honorable Speaker, at the moment, the bag of rice is $2,000, with the cheapest American rice at $1,800. Therefore, coming to think about this, how much is the salaries for both the civil servant and other public offices, like police, militaries, teachers, and others? Honorable Speaker, if this is the price for the rice, then how much would be the take home for someone earning $3,000 to $5,000, with the cost of the fish skyrocketing on the daily basis?
Honorable member, are you reading?
I'm not reading. This is what I wrote to give the speech of today. This is my reference. Honorable Speaker, this is not about Honorable Amikwale speaking.
Honorable member, you know it's out of order for you to read. Please refrain from reading. Put up your mic, man. I said it's out of order for you to read from a written script. Please refrain from reading. Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you. Noted. Honorable Speaker, this is not about Honorable Amikwale. What we are talking here, the high price of the commodity is affecting everybody in the country. And as a member of the parliament, as a representative of the people of Fonyi Baraka, as a representative of the people of the Gambia, we both have rights. We both have right to talk about what is happening in the country. I think the government needs to put something, a plan, whereby we can reduce the price of the commodities in the country. Honorable Speaker, I have checked on the Ministry of Agriculture, what the President was talking about here during SONA. Honorable Speaker, I did not see anything that will benefit the people of the Gambia on agriculture. Agriculture of the Gambia is going backwards and not forward. Honorable Speaker, I expect the President of the Gambia to tell us that this 2023, we are going to give fertilizer to the farmers at a cheaper price and seeds and farm inputs to the farmers. But not talking about policies and other things. Farmers in the Gambia, we don't need that. As at now, people are crying everything. Every time people are crying that things are expensive. I think it's high time we produce what we have in our country. We have fertilizers, and our land in the Gambia, the topography of the land of the Gambia is very good. I don't think we should continue taking loans in this country. Honorable Speaker, the way this government is taking loans is very frightening. I think it's high time we revise the way we are taking loans in the country, because this is going to haunt our own children in future. Your children, my own children in future, they are going to pay something they don't know nothing about. Honorable Speaker, the loans we are taking is too expensive, it's too much. Consider the national debt as at now. Other people are saying 99.3 billions from 2016 up to now. What about when the country, the same government rule up to 2026? The national debt is going to be more than this. Who is going to pay? All of the loans we approve in this parliament, the duration of the payment is 30 years ahead. This government will not be there. Any government who takes over from this government is going to continue to pay the loans. Honorable Speaker, I have taken on this, the State of Nation address. The President was saying that my administration is also enhancing the capacity of breeders and introducing Gambian farmers to fortify a short-term and high-yielding varieties that are resistant to adverse effects of climate change. Honorable Speaker, I wonder how can we achieve that when the Ministry of Agriculture have no livestock personnel? How many times are we checking that that book here, animal health bill? We could not pass the bill. The Ministry of Agriculture have no livestock personnel. Farmers, we have agriculturists in office, but we did not have any agriculturist who is willing to help the farmers in the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, as a member of the Parliament, I am here to represent the people of the Gambia. I'm here to represent the people of Ponyberga. I am not here to be controlled by anybody on what I should say or what I should not say. What I care is the Gambia and the people of the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, as an agriculturist, I know the Gambia has a fertile land, and I think the government can help us a lot if they could provide fertilizer to us with a reasonable price. This is something I have been singing in this parliament, and I will continue to sing for the people of the Gambia, the people whom I am representing here. Gambians are very poor. If you are to buy a bag of rice for $2,000, you are to buy a bag of fertilizer for $1,700. Before, bag of fertilizer was $700, and now bag of fertilizer is $1,700. Without considering seeds, how many farmers will be able to afford that? Honorable Speaker, I think the Ministry of Agriculture should think of how to do to help the farmers of the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, I also say that we have a problem in the Ministry of Agriculture. Maybe other people will think that we are just following the Ministry of Agriculture like that. No, we did not hate anybody. But this is our area. And we know that the Gambia cannot move forward without agriculture. We cannot leave agriculture behind. The kind of money we approve for agriculture is too much. And yet still agriculture is not moving forward. I think the president should check under the Ministry of Agriculture, what is actually happening? Is it the minister himself? Whether the person did not have any agricultural background or what, we need to know. Honorable Speaker, as an elected member of the Parliament, my role is to represent my constituency by speaking on behalf of my people, as well as sensitizing them on matters regarding National Assembly. I'm not here to underrate the Parliament or to look low upon anybody, but I think I have right to sensitize my people on whatever is happening in this Parliament. Let nobody see that I look low upon the people of the Gambia Parliament. No, people are doing their work, but in my constituency level, I have right to sensitize the people, and that's what I will continue to do. Any bill we pass here, any loan we take here, I have right to sensitize my people, and I will do it. If anybody wants to take it personal, you take it personal, but I will do it, and I will continue to sensitize my people on what is happening in this Parliament. Any kind of loan we approve, I will explain to my people. Honorable Speaker, I want to congratulate the Honorable Vice President for being the 5th Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia. Honorable Vice President, congratulations and welcome to this post. You are holding a very high post, whereby all the eyes of the Gambians are on you. Honorable Vice President of the Gambia, I hope that you will be a vice president of a corrupt-free government. I have seen many young women and men sitting without having a job. I think your office will look those youths and put them into consideration and give them jobs. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Vice President, there are people who serve the cabinet during Jammeh's time, a long time, and yet still, some of them are in your cabinet. I don't know why they don't want to make your work easy by telling you, make us advisors, we are all now. Employ the young people to serve the Gambians so that they can come with good ideas. Let the old people say and employ the young people to serve us and also work without fear or favor for the benefit of the Gambia. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Member Kufonyi Brefe. I now give the floor to the Member Kufonyi Councillor.
Thank you for the connection of Fonyi. I really appreciate it. Honorable Speaker, I thank the Vice President, ably representing the President, and I also thank various ministers who are also present. I thank various honorable members from various constituencies. This is why it is called the National Assembly members. And I also thank various media houses present and the aides to various ministers. Honorable Speaker, as I do always say, the state of national affairs may be not a scorecard for the President, but an awakening and touching levels for various ministries in which the performance of this legislative year and what various ministries intend to perform. Honorable Speaker, I will then move to the Minister of Environment, Minister of Environment. I believe, in governance, it's sometimes imperative, very important, to go by the dictates that will bring a befitting welfare change, to make sure we are in line, principally to act to the betterment of that Gambian people, the child in Bolibana and the child in Kato. Policies and programs are good. Initiatives that you find, if they are quite okay and well fitted, better off. I vividly thank, I think, the Minister of Environment has awakened a very productive issue in terms of setup. This was what had availed and helped to change narratives and clean up some messes within our environment. Thank God it has been brought back, and I believe we're in the right direction, and we will all work together to attain that setup that we all know of. It's of benefit to the populace of the Gambian people. Honorable Speaker, I then move to health. Health is paramount. The President in his speech revealed that they're working on building hospitals and major health centers. We believe health centers, since the former regime, is uncounted. Numerous health centers, numerous teaching hospitals, latest technology of machinery. But the rather unfortunate thing is we all know health can't go without various machinery apparatus, without which you cannot be giving medicines blind or giving prescriptions blind. You need able machinery to make sure it does those functions. One, as you go to the Nemban Clinic and Serekunda General Hospital of Kanifing, there is no functionable X-ray machine. All patients have to be transported to Banjul, then sent back to Edward Francis, Nemban Clinic or Serekunda. Later, maybe resent for admission in Banjul. A couple of 3 days, I had the same incident where a brother of mine had went into a fatal accident in Farato. This was moving from Kanifing, Demban, Banjul, Demban. You know, it's rather unfortunate. And I think the health sector ministry should look at it very well and see better improvement in terms of healthcare services to the doorstep of Gambian people. And again, I know Edward Francis Small or Teaching Hospital is going into renovation, but I can tell you for free, I think it's sometimes good for the president to take a step, move into various sectors, see what is happening. You know, the teaching hospital has no public toilet as per the current status. So I think it doesn't tell well. You have to move to the children's ward at the other end. You know, so I believe in so doing, we've seen a lot of renovation going on there. Simple creativity of public toilet doesn't cost millions. You know, so I think the right way is we need action. And in health performance, we need diligent moves in some of those sector areas. Honorable Speaker, I move to the area of communication. We all know without a befitting system, communication will not be as we may think of. And communication alone, as it is something that is of importance. How do we communicate when, and what solid background do we have? Looking at digital economy, if I may read, it says, as part of digitalizing of government administrative system, Cabinet approved an email policy this year to encourage and promote the use of government email platform for effective implementation of digital initiative. The policy will center on transition groups into more formal inter-government communication network. I think this is something that needs urgent. We will not be dependent on the Google, Gmail, or the Yahoos. We've passed the stage. Look at the communication. We have real experts in which they will be able to do all those things. If still ministries communicate or use their emails by Gmail or Yahoo, where are we as a country? So I think better now than never. So we believe in policies that are very strong and advocate, and also make something that is quite very important. You know, and the life of some of this area in the digital economy, you cannot digitalize a system within the country without banking on Gamtel Gamcell. We can tell you, look at the status quo of Gamtel. Gamcell are losing millions just for a simple service. Millions unaccounted data just for a simple service. I don't know whether the digital economy would be of prudence to at least help the president in understanding. You know what I tell people, you can write whatever from your department that this is what I intend, this is what is there. Visit and know the background of some of these institutions. Servers are old. Gamtel went off, for 3 days without even proper communication. Are we safe as a country? And all security apparatus, government institutions, they link basically their communication in Gamtel. If today Gamtel goes kaput, it means nothing will work. So on that high side, priority needs to be given. What went wrong? What is going on wrong in those two institutions? If it is visited and known, measures could be. And test plans should also be initiated to those institutions. And now find out, okay, you need X, Y, Z. I think we'll give you this and also make a target to make sure they are put holistic. But go to Gamtel, systems are old. Go to Gamtel, systems are old. And you expect those people to be giant operators in the country? Small companies are coming and beating the telecom giant of a government bond. I think it's unacceptable, and the ministry should vividly do those policy programs. Example here, look at Central Bank. And the bank was hacked, accounts of people were flooded with millions, without which, before realizing it's a problem. So if such issues are there, no data protection policies and security issues in these telecoms, we as a country, it's going to be very difficult. So I think it is high time for us to prioritize this. And we know so that today technology is advancing and we need not to be left behind. Honorable Speaker, in area of lands ministry, we all know this is, I can even say, the linking brain of local governance. Land issues, we talk of communal services, looking at the status quo of this country. I believe in the speech of the president, I haven't seen any area that is linking to the rental policies. If it is, maybe it's not put across to the president. And if it is not, I think the ministry should initiate these rental policies to the government populace. Today, go to the Kanifing municipal areas, or the Karaba avenues and the Fajaras. A Gambian own a building will not even charge in dollars. It will be charged in dollars or pounds. In our country, foreign currencies, I think we need to take actions in this. Charging rental fees in foreign currency, as if our dollars is not important. Our dollars is not a foreign dollars. Sorry, it's not a dollars that we owe as a Gambia. Others charging fees, dollars, pounds. Come rent a building and say, okay, this is number of dollars, this is number of pounds you pay yearly. So I think the ministry, if there are no policies along that line, I think it is high time for them to think along that line and bring policies, acts, so as it becomes what? Something that is vibrant for people. Any day, individual can come and say, okay, I am increasing my rent. You cannot do anything. I can charge this tomorrow, I said this. Or initiate 8 days, you pay 1 year. Or pay 6 months. The least that you could also negotiate, pay a 3 months fee. And I believe if proper digitalization is made, we may score a lot of revenue in that particular area. Some of these rental stores, whatever, are uncountable. You cannot account them. You go sometimes, the system is not digital, paper-based. You write this, okay, go to X, Y, Z, Serekunda, visit Brikama. You talk of Basse, other areas. If it is not digitalized and enhanced, how do you be able to account this? If some of these policies and programs or acts have been laid, that if you increase the rent this amount, this is the percentage that you pay. If you increase this, this is the percentage you pay. Or if you increase the lesser the pay of that rental, the lesser you pay. You will see a reduction in terms of rentals. But I think the ministry should act fastly in making sure we would not, or we should not allow foreign pay so far rentals are concerned in the Gambia. It's happening. And I think the ministry could also make investigation on that side to see how best they can stop this amicably and make it as a point of duty avail the suffering of the Gambian people. In making sure business are also flourishing. Because if you increase the rent, at the end of the day, how much would you be selling a business? So I think the ministry should take note on this area and see better approach in this. Honorable Speaker, I now come to the Minister of Agriculture. You know, it's sad. It's sad as a ministry, agriculture, agri and you cultivate. You cannot do the agro aspects, neither cultivation. Today, look at these are funding institutions that we're seeing in Delhi. It is one of the biggest ministry that has funds available for all projects. But can you count how many projects are living here? What honorable member for Lower Salem said is true. You know, I do tell people, we are not here to look at the faces of people. That is not the purpose why we are, that's not the mandate why we are here. We are here to represent our people and the people of the Gambia. That's why they don't say Fonyi Council member, they said National Assembly member, followed by my top constituency. So nationality first. So what I will suggest, this is a proposal, and I want the Vice President to pen this down. And we are very serious on this. I want the Vice President to pen this down, that I'm suggesting, and I need his cooperation, and also the cooperation of the members of the National Assembly, that forthwith, let's work on mechanisms to transfer agricultural ministry from the minister down to the last dot cleaner or something. And we can work on modality in terms of pay, even extraordinary budget. I will work on negotiating, politicking to members so that the ministry could be evacuated forthwith with a Concorde jet to support so that we can see the narrative. Because I can understand this. You know? So today you talk of, you have resource-wise, the ministry is fully capacitated.
May I observe?
Okay, thank you.
Yes, honorable member of Fonyi Council, I will second it because if you check on Uganda, the ministry is taken to provinces. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. I think I'm not alone in this, and I think we need to make serious moves. We can decide, National Assembly, we can decide. If, for example, we have some blockages or barricades within the ministry or the cohort cabinet, we'll be able to at least punch them out there and make sure that it is done. When we make this strategy, any ministry will take note that either you do business or else you are moved to the provinces. And we should start with the Minister of Agriculture. If it is done so, we will forget about the what ACs, whatever, mover, animal that is there, you go to Brikama, Nari, the other side, the other move, various issues. But let's see practical agricultural production. And the president in agricultural area, he has said, 5, using PP models, we will foster the establishment process of companies to establish processing and production systems. Hopefully, these interventions will generate employment and market value production. Can we name one system that is in place currently in the agricultural sector that will promote food production? Which, look at our mangoes, go to Fonyi. Our mangoes are now flying, whatever. You cannot even prepare a mango juice agricultural sector. Are we joking as a country? Agriculture. Even mangoes, we cannot even plant juice of mango, oranges, you name it. Cashew, bananas all over. So today we are saying agriculture, we need to capacity food self-sufficiency. It's a joke. We have to act as members. We have to act as members. We will not be here sitting on our bench and say, your target rates will now be. We need business, real business for that matter. Agriculture must change, or else we change. We can't. We can make decisions. So I believe the Vice President think of this, put it at the cabinet as a resolution, and come back, even extraordinary. I am ready to go into the doors of members, even in their villages, to convince them we move agriculture to support. Honorable Speaker, I move to basic and secondary education. In our tradition, I am not a Westernist, and I would disqualify all tags being a Westernization. I'm an African. and I'm a pure Africanist, and I believe in the African culture. And the Gambian syndrome, all cultural aspects of the Gambia are all part of me, and I'm linked. Prayers. Looking at the results of our basic and secondary education, we joke. I went to a mission school in my senior secondary school. High school, I went to a Muslim school. Prayers is of essence, very important. We've seen the deteriorating aspect of results that are produced based on WAEC or GABE. Just listen, what timetable of recent was Friday, 2 o'clock, a paper. You have to go for Juma Salah. Friday, 2 o'clock, a paper. You think dua will be given to this? You think you will produce productive results in this? Prayers is very important. Even you start your prayer, ancestors will tell you, pray so that Allah will build success. Your Friday prayers, 2 o'clock, some they put it. Where is the Africanism that we are talking about? Timetable are being drafted by people. You sit and draft. So I think the Minister of Basic Education should watch this very carefully. I am a Muslim. I am a Christian. You laid my subject on Sunday or Friday. I go on without even praying. What do you think? What do you think it will give you? Do you think I'll have productive results?
First of all, Honorable Member, there is point of order from the member for Central Bank.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, the member is deviating from the topic of the discussion. We are not talking about prayers or the time for Salah. It's on the debate. No.
Honorable Member, please proceed and let's confine ourselves within the...
Honorable Speaker, I'm M7 Commander, so no distraction will push me. So, Honorable Member, please, you need prayers for yourself. As I do say, we all believe in whatever. So, I believe basic and secondary education should also watch on this very carefully. So, see productive results. It's very important, and traditionally, it's also accepted. The other issue in basic and secondary education is, I believe, let's test or go back to a system that we've seen very progressive in terms of results. We could see that the results still is not impressive. What is wrong of us going back to common entrance? Fast track initiative. You fail, you pass, progression, you go. I think we're looking for quality. So I task the Vice President, if possible, link with the ministry. If it is possible, we revive the common entrance syndrome to see it a great move in our education sector. Honorable Speaker, down to higher education. You will only talk of educational status quo. When you go to universities, even classrooms or chairs to sit the problem. But thank God, last week approved, and I believe the monitoring committee should put this as a priority to see that it is implemented. We need mass exodus movement to Faraba Banda immediately when it's implemented to iron out, to see the difficult distress that students are facing. When you go to any university, sometimes you even think, how do you score? Or read, or even put something in your brain, the environment isn't conducive, where professors will go. Some of us, our offices are even better than a professor. Leading a dean of a school is living within meals, whatever, professor of a university, and now you are giving a particular guy, say, okay, be ready to execute your task. So I think the initiative that we have been is of importance, and it will also reduce some of these crises within the education sector. Honorable Speaker, I then move to interior. Interior is as important as our daily deliberations. Crimes have been, specified here, number of crimes collected and the percentage wise. But sometimes you wonder if, lastly, the minister said this amount, but when you hear the statistics of the police, you could also see a different variance. I think coming up with a system that is modernized and digitalized will avert some of these crimes. You go to police station, even an A4 paper to write statement is a problem. Are we serious as a ministry? Or are we serious as a government? So all these are issues that I think we should revive this interior. Now, going to the second page, 26, that highlighted number 7. On revenue collection, the Gambia Immigration Department collected 104 million plus January to December, opposed to 103 in 2021. I wonder, this effect, it's not a surprise. Visit immigration department. Immigration will go and rent. They will rent gully, rent pickups for a collection of government. They will rent and go and do their collection. They'll rent after they pay the car that they've rented. So these are issues that you don't need it involved the president, or you don't need. As a ministry, what is there? What are problems that are affecting this particular unit? And just of recent, we had, at least if I'm correct, 46 million within 2-3 months. Immigration did that particular score collection. We are joking as a country. And the ministry is sleeping. We need to awake that ministry to understand the importance of revenue collection. How can a whole department is doing effectively well, rent it? They will rent cars for revenue. How do you expect it will drop? Others are using COVID-19, COVID. We'll be COVID in here until COVID at us again. If not, but mechanisms are not in place. Things that is supposed to be used for us to be able to use effectively are not there. That immigration officer, 4, 5, 7 people, whatever, 10 people, rent a gully and they do their collection. After they pay by that gully and they continue their submission. And again, they will not even be applaud immigration. We are waiting. Honorable Vice President, we are waiting for the act of immigration. I particular, if it doesn't connect for the benefit of immigration, I will campaign against that particular act so it will not be passed. So we believe immigration should be catered for. And any revenue that is centralized, if we capacitize immigration, we will see an improvement in our revenue collection. We will see that. Honorable Speaker, in terms of legal and judiciary, I do always tell people, corruption doesn't mean anti-corruption bill. If it is not passed, corruption will not be tamed, or we will not even burn down corruption in our system. It's not about anti-corruption. There are laws that are governing us. But anti-corruption is not that. So it means if anti-corruption is not passed now, whatever in and out is going within the corruptional base, it will still continue. It's the same. We should not wait for anti-corruption bill. Anti-corruption is not there, we can do whatever. Don't we have laws that are guided principally? So are you telling me that I'll be a minister or a vice president or even an MP or whatever a direct rate to fill my pocket and go scot-free because the anti-corruption bill is not available? Let's talk of issues that will help us. I think we need to be very cautious in terms of how do we do our financial management. If that is not in place, I think we will be drumming and dancing. Every time the same scenarios, pointing fingers and now giving acronyms in our doings. This is not acceptable. And we should graduate from ourselves in this. Honorable Speaker, I now move to works and infrastructure. The ministry is doing well in terms of laying blocks, in terms of laying foundations, and there are other roads that are under construction. But I doubt within the Greater Banjul area the status quo of some of those roads. Take the Bundung Highway. If rain is about a month or even few days to come, if rains heavily in that particular area, I think the whole Bundung will end up suffering. What are the plans? Works that was going, you see people digging, trying, it's no more. It's no more happening. So I believe it's not a matter of giving up, but pragmatism in doing project is very important. You cannot be doing things as if you like. We have to get forces in terms of making sure some of those roads are history by now. We should see a different change. And again, also, I'll check the ministry. They were also talking about strategic plans in terms of abating roads and also developing some of these key roads. Look at the Trans-Gambia Highway from Mandinaba to Soma. Certain villages in our end in Sangajo, the road is about to be taken by erosion. So road management is also key. And I think the ministry should be cautious with some of these rules to make sure they manage some of those rules very well. Honorable Speaker, on my last intervention, or second to last, fisheries. You know, you go to Tangier, go to the Badala side. Fish, even as a government to get those fish, it's a problem for you. Where are fish taking? Agreements, EU, Senegalese, whatever agreement, any agreement that we have, we realize that we have a lot of defects in some of those agreements. And now look at the consumption rate of fish in the government. And we could make a difference. So I think we have to revisit some of these agreements and see our best side, our best interest in those agreements. If not, we will just delay agreement, at the end of the day, it will not even pay dividend. Honorable Speaker, in defense. Yes, any country that wants to succeed, it should equip its army and security services. I had a member here say, we don't need a trained military. We don't need this, we don't need this. I think sometimes some members need prayers. Sometimes they need prayers. Any country that don't have force, you are joking as a country. But in area of defense, if you further look at the revival of TACOS, I think it's idea. We are asking the Vice President to honestly push the TACOS for the military so that it will be in our table for us to act wisely. And also, collaboration of security agencies within the environment. Yes, defense is doing much, but we are seeing a vis-a-vis interest within other security apparatus, where we see other security forces in other countries are doing better in terms of taking ownership of our sovereignty than our own security forces. And that's not acceptable. They could do a lot of heinous things in our own soil and go back scot-free. So I think this should be looked at critically to make sure you are back. You cannot be chastising as a foreign soldier. In my own country, an army facing an army. These are all happenings. These are real happenings that are in this country. So I believe you as the Vice President act on this to see a better move in terms of, protecting our security to the best of our ability. Now, the other thing also is about the conflict of customers between the MFDC. I think it is a conflict that is ongoing, and I do say, and I'll continue to say it, and I'll say it loudly, that the conflict of customers, we are not part and parcel. But what we are facing as a region, the K2K block, from Karton to Kalai, is unacceptable. And this is where it was just like, brushed a little, as if, a caterpillar is to ruin around this end. It was not even clearly put in place. It was not a dodging syndrome. For I don't know who are actually the Minister of Defense, to the President. Inform the President, put it to him to understand that this is the status quo of this end. Security, you don't hide. If you hide security, you are creating heaven and distrust within your country. And it's dangerous. The environment is not going solidly. The forces within the particular border are doing their own, and they have their own powers, and they can decide what they want in our own soil. And one thing that is so unfortunate with all this crisis, you don't even see any correct press release saying this happened. Condemning the selling that is happening, and condemning the mass exodus of internally displaced persons in this region. Honorable Vice President, a country is a country called the Gambia, and it is us all to make a country called the Gambia. If I can quote this, Honorable Speaker, the silent incident Senegalese had with the Sergeant people, it was aired. The president is donated 1 million food items. Phone you can take out. Why is not put here in this? Why? Only camouflaging, part and parcel, complete with the MFDC, whatever. Skeleton reporting this. You want us to accept this and take it as something that is important? Or you want to see that people are now saying that, okay, you are recognized. So it has to go to Fonyi's end. People are mending their own corrugate. Yesterday I was from from Balen. They are building their own, using their own irrigated ions with their own money. Who among the ministers, among the president, among the director, among the echelon of chief who had visited that area? And you want to give this kind of report to the president? Don't mislead the president. It's a taboo to do so. He needs to be informed. I think this country needs national prayers. I want the president, from the president down to the last person, let's call a national prayers. So it's really unfortunate. And I believe, in all honesty, the better that we can join together as a force, the more productive we will be. And now the last part, Honorable Speaker, the president has linked all of us. I'm looking at your eyes, all of you. It is very clear, it is said by the president. Politics. We are all from different political parties. Already. But he said we work in unison and make sure that we support to see the progression of this country. So let's ask ourselves, are we ready to take this? Yes. If yes, it should start from today then. And we see a progressive country as a nation. And we believe so. The Gambia we want will only be achieved if we collaborate and cooperate together to see that country called the Gambia. And I believe the earlier, the better. And he has also insinuated that politics is gone. And for us, let's do politics that will change the status quo of this country. If we do so, the better we are. And our names will be tagged all over. But without which, we will just be circumambulating around with it. It's the same scenario. So on that note, I heavily thank everybody. And I believe, and I'm also sending this last resolution to the Vice President, inform the President that I said, let him call a national prayer day for the country so that we can see a trajectory move. All departments and all ministries and National Assembly members. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member Fonyi Councillor. Now it's 15:09. I think it's a good time for us to break. Those of us who are fasting to have our lunch, and those who want to pray, perform their prayer. We'll break for 1 hour, and we'll resume by 14:10. 16:10. The House is suspended.